All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is Complete Fear. Kamala Harris facing bombshell workplace accusations. Tantalizing.
Kamala Harris is hiring. She is looking for a vice presidential candidate to join her ticket and could announce that person as early as Tuesday. Right. But I wonder if any of these contenders you're looking at have read about what it's like to work for Harris. Reports of a harsh work environment under Kamala Harris have since resurfaced. And former Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who's also from California, said this about what he's heard working for her is like.
All right, let's go.
It is known in California and it's known in Washington. It is a heroic work environment if you work for her. Nobody lasts very long. Even as VP, when she didn't do anything, she could not keep staff. That is a person that the press will never talk about. How she treats people around her is a real indication of what she'll do in the future.
And reports of poor office culture with Harris are not new. A government watchdog reports Vice President Harris's office has nearly 92% staff turnover. Donald Trump had 72%. She had 92. Back in 2022, one Harris aide said this about working for Kamala, quote,
"Bro, that's crazy.
It's always been a problem. You have to have your people around you." And a 2019 op-ed about then Senator Harris revealing, quote, Senator Harris vocally throws F-bombs and other profanity constantly in her berating of staff and others. The staff is in complete fear of her, and she uses her profanity throughout the day.
Ew.
Even MSNBC host and former Harris staffer Simone Sanders hinted at struggling to work for the vice president.
Okay, let's go.
It was new for me when I worked for her because I had never worked for a high-profile woman before. I had only ever worked for men. And there was one day at work where I was like, ma'am, you might be the last woman I work for. Because this is
there's a story there.
It's a lot. There's a lot that we got to deal with over in here. It was something, though, that I think any candidate, any person in power needs to be aware of what the criticism is.
So what do you think it is? Is it just completely ego? Maybe it is. It could be ego.
I mean, candid, smart words. Simone was a huge part of the staff, Emily. And I remember when Simone left, this tweet went viral of this guy named David Gens, because a lot of people were leaving the office. Let's pull it up. This was him sitting at a desk outside of the office. My name is David Gens. I work for Vice President Harris on behalf of the American people. And people said, blink twice if you need help, David.
Yes, I remember covering that on the couch. We laughed hysterically at that poor thing. Look, at the end of the day, too, a culture like that is not hard to remedy, and rumors like that are not hard to overcome. Right. So to me, I think I'll just leave it there for your own explanation.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some definite truth in here, guys. But again, I want to know if it's ego-oriented. I guess it could be, right? I mean, that's my overall perception here. She is the first female vice president, right? So, I mean, that's enough, I think, mentally for you to put yourself so high that you're basically untouchable. But, right? It may be, in fact, ego-driven.
Extrapolation. These types of reports of her office culture have plagued her throughout California as well. This is nothing new, as you said, not now and not then. And I just point to when President Biden first took office, and he said, if someone doesn't operate with respect, I will fire them immediately. It seems like he should have looked inward. We've reported as well often and repeatedly about issues that she has had with how she's portrayed, the indignance she has about how she was, the shoes she wore on the Vogue cover, who invited her to meetings in foreign nations. Like, the list goes on about what offends her and sort of the draconian way, the draconian hand that she leads with. But I think at the end of the day, even if you say, well, I don't know what the facts are a 90+% turnover rate, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah, kind of. I think that's basically everything, right? 92% of the people that she hires or that are hired to basically work around her have ran as fast as they could, basically, from her. But then Trump was 72%, she said here, and Biden is 77. So to be honest, I mean, 92 is, that's a lot, but I think 72 and 77 are also still a lot. I mean, has there been anyone that has had less, guys? I think that's probably the question that we should be looking for an answer for, guys. But let's continue.
You know, Ainsley, I read this op-ed by this guy named Terry McCater in 2019, and his son interned in the Attorney General's office. And he said that she made people stand and address her as a general, and that younger staffers were told not to look her in the eye. And I just compared it to Trump. who regularly engaged with interns when he walked by, didn't care if people stood. He was the president.
Right.
What a difference.
He calls people, if you worked for him, he would call your mom and say, put her on the phone. Let me talk to her. If you said my mom loves you. He's so personable and likable when you're around him one-on-one. And the F-bombs and fear, toxic. When y'all were reading all this, weren't you so grateful you work at Fox News? Can you imagine if we were treated this way? Only 4 of her original 47 staffers from year 1 are still there. You can tell, you're quoting Maya Angelou. This is similar. You can tell a lot about someone if you work for them.
And when you're mean to staff, guess what comes? Leaks.
Leaks. Also, you know, it's so funny. We started the show off with this this wise Kamala Harris, who all of a sudden, just in the last 48 hours, has changed her mind on a myriad of subjects. But honestly, you know, if you can't be able to be candid with the President of the United States as a staffer, then that would mean a lot of things would go wrong, would just get worse. You know, and that's my concern as a voter, as an American citizen. The ability of whoever's in the Oval Office to recognize from time to time we don't get it right.
Yeah.
And who would have the heart, the nerve, the guts to be able to say, Madam President, this is wrong?
And, you know, I was reading
not a single person, literally, not a single person is going to step up and be like, hey, can you calm this down just a little bit? Like, can you stop yelling at me just a little bit? Like, please, can you just, for the moment, stop cursing at me, right? Like, speak to me like you would like to be spoken to. No one is going to do that.
Axios report about a time she interrogated Karine Jean-Pierre during the campaign so much that other staffers noticed it.
Well, what I find so interesting about this whole thing is that a toxic workplace is the HR department's worst nightmare. And that you end up with lawsuits and things get leaked and it goes public and everything. Think of Ellen DeGeneres, another California lady who got outed. And this was after years of her having this successful talk show and everybody loved her. Oh, she's so funny. Oh, she's so sweet.
Yeah. But
once
behind
one person came out and started talking about the toxic workplace at Ellen DeGeneres' show, everybody started coming out, including people that had been on her show. So I just wonder if it's a matter of time before we get more details.
Great point. The Trump campaign should create a new coalition, angry Kamala Harris staffers for Trump.
You want to break the internet with that one? Come on now. That's a hell of a Zoom call. No, I'm just joking.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at...
All right, guys, hold on. All right, so I have the stats here. They're definitely different from what is being said here, though. But let's actually go ahead and see if we can actually check this out here, guys. Because I do think that these are very interesting. Like, very, very interesting. Turn over. Okay. They're coming from the website Brookings. I'm trying to see exactly what this website is about before I even start looking at it. Yeah, see if there's any like inherent bias. Because that would basically help me like fully grasp if I want to even look at this website. I don't really see any like super like anything that stands out to me as just inherently biased. Okay. Biden. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and forecast that this is probably coming from the left, guys. But all right, let's see what they're talking about though. Just so we can verify a couple of things. All right. 1 second. I have no idea why this is not functioning adequately. Right, here we go. Let's see. Whew. All right. I see. So basically, it's right here. Let's see if I can zoom in. I cannot zoom in. They're saying Trump is at 92, but yet the video we just saw said that Harris was at 92. That's an interesting thing here, guys. But again, this is left leaning. The video that we just watched was obviously right leaning. So I would say somewhere in the middle is true, right? Who had the least? W. Bush had the least, based off of this chart here, guys. Then Bush's father, Reagan and Trump is what they're saying had the most here. But at the top of the page, they're saying 85% was the actual turnover. So again, I would say somewhere in the middle is true. They said 72. This website is saying 92, but then at the top they're saying, right, 85, right? So there are a couple of interesting things here. I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, Trump is known is the "you're fired" guy, right? So I don't know, right? I'm sure he was walking around being like, "Get out of here." So basically, but Trump definitely, when he got into office, he fired the most people initially, right? And then the second year, Reagan definitely had that, and as he was leaving, Clinton fired a lot of people. But either way, all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.